I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism.
Don't we want our children to know that slavery was wrong as I fight against slavery today that still exists?
Extreme MAGA Republicans don't want the children of America to learn about the Holocaust.
The provisions in this bill that out trans kids are cruel and dangerous. I say that as a mom of a trans kid.
So my message to my colleagues is simple. Stop being mean to kids.
Bills like this make schools more hostile, and make no mistake, it results in hate, bigotry, and yes, sometimes death.
So don't tell me this is a parent's bill of rights. This is not addressing gun violence. It's not addressing mental health. It's not addressing childcare, pre-K, and all of the other things that would be a part of a parent's bill of rights. Instead, we're spending time on a bill that sows doubt about public education and our teachers, and also targets our very vulnerable trans kids who are absolutely no threat to anyone in this body. Please understand that the provisions in this bill that out trans kids are cruel and dangerous. I say that as a mom of a trans kid. And I was very embracing to my daughter when she came out, but not every family is. The reality is 75% of trans kids experience discrimination and harassment. So why do Republicans want schools to require outing LGBTQ students? That does not make them better students. Congress has the constitutional authority to write laws. What a mockery and betrayal of that duty it would be to pass this stunt of a bill that doesn't address a single priority of parents, bans books, undermines teachers, and hurts our kids. Democrats are the party of parents and families.
I'm against not wanting to hear the words of Elie Wiesel about the Holocaust that said, "I swore never to be silent whenever and wherever human beings endure suffering and humiliation." Don't we want our children to be kind? Don't we want our children to know that slavery was wrong as I fight against slavery today that still exists? Don't we want our children to understand the basis of all of our history, the mosaicness of this nation and African American history?
This bill is modeled after one that I know very well, Florida's parental rights in the education law. Most of us know it as Don't Say Gay. And Don't Say Gay infringes on parents' rights, including LGBTQ+ and supportive parents. Bills like this make schools more hostile, and make no mistake, it results in hate, bigotry, and yes, sometimes death of our students in schools. Republican lawmakers won't even allow my amendment to be considered that protects the First Amendment rights of parents. We want to talk about parental rights. What about their First Amendment right to fight for their children, LGBTQ+ children who are fighting for gender affirming and life-saving care? One of my colleagues brought this up, but this bill focuses on parents' rights. But what about the rights of our students? What about the rights of our young people? Why are my Republican colleagues not advocating for our students? Is it because they know that the majority of young people despise legislation like this and do not support legislation like this that is bigoted? Is it because this generation is the most progressive generation this country has ever seen, because they want a world where everybody can succeed, where we see the world through the eyes of the most vulnerable?
This bill is nothing more than a talking point of the extreme MAGA agenda that will hurt children and hurt our schools. Let's just face it. There has been a movement to eliminate public education since the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education decision. With the election of our president 7 years ago, it pulled the scab off a wound that never healed. Now it is an open, gaping wound, and it is out of control. They're throwing everything at public schools but the kitchen sink: vouchers, excessive testing, poorly paid teachers, banning books, and now they're trying to drive a wedge and create an antagonistic relationship between schools and their parents. How pathetic, how dreadful. Parents love teachers. Everybody loves teachers. Every parent has an I love and remember a teacher story. How disgraceful. We want to terrorize the very people who love our children, keep them safe, and educate them for over 8 hours daily. Our teachers are sacrificial lambs. You will never eliminate public schools. We will fight you as long as it takes. This is all the little children who look like me have. Love and respect every child's individuality. Guarantee that every child's teacher will make a minimum of $60,000 a year.
The gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentlewoman's time is expired.
And I can assure you that curriculum should be ultimately determined by experts, not untrained individuals with extremist views. In addition to restricting parents' rights, H.R. 5 hurts some of our most vulnerable kids in the LGBTQ community. Why? According to the Trevor Project, one LGBTQ youth attempts suicide every 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Why? Why are we being more cruel? I believe that not just in politics, but in life, we're judged by how we treat those on the margins. So my message to my colleagues is simple. Stop being mean to kids. We can be involved and be inclusive.
I think what we're seeing here today is the Republican Party's attempt to take some of the most heinous legislation that we are seeing passed on the state level to attack our trans and LGBT, as well as people from marginalized communities, right to exist in schools. This flowery language of quote unquote parental rights and freedom hides the sinister fact of this legislative text. If you notice in these arguments, they are not really discussing what is actually in this legislation. It includes two provisions that require schools to out trans, non-binary, and LGBT youth, even if it would put said youth in harm's way. One of the highest rates of youth homelessness is in the LGBT community, from parents who want to kick their children out in households that may be unstable or abusive. For so many children of abuse, school is their only safe place to be. But before they claim that this is not about banning books and not about harming the LGBT community, let's just look at the impacts of similar Republican legislation that has already passed on the state level. Look at these books that have already been banned due to Republican measures. The Life of Rosa Parks. This apparently is too woke by the Republican Party. Song of Solomon is unacceptable to Republican politics. 40% of banned books have reported are significantly addressing and specifically addressing LGBT issues. To say and talk about government reach and freedom, this Republican bill is asking the government to force the outing of LGBT people before they are ready. And talking about the rights of parents in this gallery today, the National Parents Union is here saying, don't do this. I have a letter that I'd like to submit where they are asking the Republican Party to keep culture wars out of classrooms. Our children need urgent and aggressive educational solutions. The American Library Association coming out against this Republican proposal. When we talk about progressive values, I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism. Thank you very much.
Time is
This legislation has nothing to do with parental involvement, parental engagement, parental empowerment. It has everything to do with jamming the extreme MAGA Republican ideology down the throats of the children and the parents of the United States of America. Their educational agenda is pretty simple. They want to ban books. They want to bully the LGBTQ plus community. They want to bring guns into classrooms, kindergarten and above. That's their educational agenda. They want to ban books about history, ban books about the American journey, ban books about the Holocaust, ban books about slavery, ban books about the civil rights movement, ban books about the LGBTQ plus experience, ban books about the Native American experience, ban books about the Latino experience, ban books about the Asian American experience, ban books about our collective journey. They want to ban a book called Mouse. It's about the horrors of the Holocaust, an egregious crime against humanity that we should never, ever forget. 6 million Jews exterminated. They want to ban Mouse, a book about the Holocaust. What's so offensive in that book? Let me read a passage. They took us from our papers, our clothes, and our hair. We were cold, and we were afraid. Extreme MAGA Republicans don't want the children of America to learn about the Holocaust. They want to ban a book called Melissa, a book describing, in very personal terms, the experience of a trans girl beginning to understand her identity. What's so dangerous about that? I was taught in my religion, growing up in the Cornerstone Baptist Church, that we are all God's children. Shouldn't we learn about all of God's children? That's what my religion teaches me. What's so offensive about Melissa? What's so offensive about this book? Let me read a passage. Her heart sank. She had genuinely started to believe that if people could see her on stage as Charlotte, maybe they would see that she was a girl off stage too. Extreme MAGA Republicans don't want your child to learn about the LGBTQ plus experience in America. That's not a decision that extreme MAGA Republicans here in Congress should make. The parents of America should be able to make that determination. They want to jam their extreme MAGA Republican ideology down the throats of the children and parents in America. That's unacceptable, that's unconscionable, and that's un-American.